First time to you in this budget, I won't want to call it a final plan because it's always going to be a work in progress, but for the fiscal year 2009, we have identified our organizational chart for the Dunwoody Police Department. Previously, we kind of laid out some of the management structure, but now we've added the bottom of the chart to let you know where we're headed. And the organizational chart includes the chief of police, one deputy chief, 3 lieutenants, which have been previously approved. But now it also includes 6 sergeants, 29 patrol officers, and that patrol officers will also include a community-oriented policing person will be a post-certified officer, and then 8 civilians, which will include the police service representatives, which is your police records clerks. That handle any of the civilian duties we can handle to take those off of the officers. A property evidence person, a crime scene technician, but also the reason that 5 for number is 5 for the records clerk, which may seem a little bit high, is that it's a requirement when you're in the GCIC system that you have 24-hour coverage, so that when you get a hit, and what a hit is if somebody, say, gets picked up on a warrant that we have out there, that police agency will call it in, they will call us, and if in 10 minutes you don't respond to them, then you get into audit problems with the GCIC. So you have to have somebody available to pick up the phone 24 hours a day. So you really need 5 people to be able to run that 24-hour operation with people on vacation and sleeping and all those things that people like to do. And that really lays out from a personnel side. It is also a little bit more expensive when you're a startup agency as compared to a more traditional police agency, because all the people that we're going to be hiring are going to be certified officers starting out. So the starting point of the range for the patrol officer, which is the largest section of our budget, is higher by average than it would be in an existing agency. So that's one of those kind of unique elements to our budget. The other thing that we have done that's been sort of a moving target that we've come to a decision on for recommendations on our vehicles. We had initially talked with the council about doing a pooled vehicle concept for year 1, and then doing a fleet take-home policy for year 2 and beyond. There are a couple considerations that have changed. One is that we have confirmed now through the leasing, or I'm sorry, not leasing, but through the lease purchase, which is traditionally just a finance purchase, that we can go to 5 years for our police cars as opposed to normally it's 3. So if we finance the vehicles over a 5-year period, it actually, the costs in year 1 is going to equal to what it will be in year 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it'll continue on. The advantage to doing the pooled vehicle is just that you lower that first year cost half of what the second year cost would be. But eventually the bill comes due in year 2, you'd be paying the full amount in every year beyond that. And what we did was weighed a couple of considerations. One is from a recruiting standpoint, being that we're on a very short stick and need to be up and running April 1st, we felt like the take-home policy was an important recruiting tool that we needed to put in place immediately, as opposed to making a promise that it'll be here a year from now. And the second consideration is as we worked through the rest of the budget and came to the numbers and we found that we were in good financial position, we were able to then say, okay, let's go ahead and pay for that now, get it going, and it didn't really affect the bottom line considerably enough to make our recommendation stick with what we initially conceived of. So the costs on a yearly basis is about $250,000 for automobiles, because what you're doing is taking all 40 vehicles, financing them on an ongoing 5-year basis. So there's never a point when you do it with this financing method that you'll kind of take a break from paying for cars. And that's just, again, unique to most agencies. Buy a third or a fourth of their cars each year, depending on their vehicle mileage. We're going to be buying them once, and then they'll all come due almost at the same time. So this will be a steady cost you're going to see throughout. So there'll be no surprises for 2010. It's going to be expensive every year. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We also have our department heads here as well to answer any questions you may have.
John, I'm excited about the police department. Put a lot of work into it. Congratulations. I was looking at the equipment. Tasers. Will the Dunwoody Police Department be providing their officers tasers?
Yes.
Yes.
We will be providing tasers, and they will be operational April 1st, subject to the policies that Chief Bergen puts in place for their proper use.
And Has the gasoline amount gone up now that the number of vehicles have gone up? Okay, I'm just wondering if it's affected.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It may need to be adjusted, because you get, I would probably suggest in an amendment, if y'all would offer us to up that from 83,000 to, about 125 probably would be more appropriate. That there is a certain cost reduction you get from not running each of the cars 24/7, but you've got double the amount of cars, and also on the take-home policy, you got the coming to and from costs as well. So probably recommend upping that from the 83 we put in here to 120 or 125. Also with the uncertainties of where the gas prices may be headed as well.
Right. Thank you. I'm looking forward to a high-tech police department. Everything I've heard is everything is going to be computerized. All of your traffic citations are going to be computerized. The police officer is going to drive his vehicle up to the station and download everything into the computers. I'm excited about the police department. Speed detection. How many vehicles will have speed detection?
I think we initially looked at having 4 radars.
Chief, just a minute. Everybody's information, this is Chief Billy Grogan, who is the chief of police for Dunwoody Police Budget.
Thanks. I think we initially looked at 4 radars and 2 lasers, and this was prior to us deciding to move forward with all the vehicles, so we'll probably look at that and examine it more closely.
Okay. So is it in this price, or?
Yes, 4 radars and 2 lasers.
But you're thinking now that you have more vehicles, you may need to up that as well?
Absolutely.
One of the things that caused some citizen concern during the referendum period was what we would do in the event of a major problem. You know, we need a helicopter for search and rescue, or we need a tank to get somebody out of, you know, a hostage situation or whatever. I assume that we'll put together agreements with DeKalb County or other local agencies to help us with that sort of arrangement. We have to pay them for that, right? And is the cost of that, is there a budget for that?
In some cases, we might have to pay them, but in other cases, it's just a mutual aid kind of thing. And so we'll be working on that with other agencies, certainly.
Okay. Is there a need to budget an amount to cover the cost of any of that? Okay.
Take-home cars, we think about establishing some limits on mileage.
Yes.
I know some guys that work out of the North Precinct right now that live in Griffin and places like that. In the city, I mean.
Yes.
Do you have any idea of what kind of mileage you're looking at?
Somewhere in the neighborhood probably of 25, 30 miles, something like that to the city limits.
See 180K in there for the station, for lease for a year. Is that for 9 months or just from March 15th? What I'm assuming is we've identified a place, I know we don't want to discuss where it is right now, but I'm assuming that place is going to do it.
Yeah, it's for a 9-month basis, and we've taken some assumptions on the square footage will be approximately 12,000 square feet of space, and we've approximated what we think the rent will be, and came out with a budget number divided by 9. But there's also some other assumptions in there that the landlord will pay for utilities and insurance and janitorial services as well.
Any thoughts on using local jails versus DeKalb for short-term, long-term? I'd say budgeted in there for that, but I mean, the issue that I'm watching with the cities around us is if we take a guy down Memorial in mid-shift, it kills one of our officers off the street for a long period of time.
Sure. I'm actually having a meeting tomorrow with DeKalb Sheriff's Office to discuss that situation, but I'm also meeting with Doraville later this week. The problem, I think, with the local jurisdictions is we'd have to pay for that.